Brothers, come. Chavra, come. Shavua Mitzvah, Shavua Shavanafochu. Oh, there's one more sefer there, whoever needs, I see. If anyone needs a sefer.
Just let maybe open up to something about how, special our Am is. I just heard Luke Gasser talking on the phone. He had someone donated 40 pairs of tefillin,
yeah.
Just something on how incredible coming together.
First of all, we're going to learn, Jeremy, in Biblui Nishmas, your grandfather-in-law. The name was Shlomo Zalman ben Binyamin. Tehillah Saba should only be nachas, continue to receive nachas ruach from the whole family. Bezrat Hashem. Am Yisrael. I went there last night to where the Chaver from the Moshav are, and my car itself has been not just I have my basement, and my car is packed with things that I don't know what to do with, because the abundance that they've received is I've never seen such a thing before in my life. In fact, they had to get volunteers from that kfar, Ben Shemen, to sift through everything and to figure out what to do with the abundance of stuff that was sent down there. Not to be believed. Like you overheard me saying, there was some people were calling from America saying, we have connections with Talis, and most people's tefillin were burnt. So before I could even answer them and say, oh yeah, I'll go there Motzei Shabbos and I'll find out how much is needed. I got there, there was this two tables, packed 40 new tefillins and talesim, and I showed up there last night. The only thing I did bring with me is someone came over before Shabbos and said, take this guitar, give it to somebody. So it's really important. I was sitting there, and he doesn't have a thing, nothing. The shirt he had on was all he had, mamish. So we brought him a guitar. They themselves are feeling the love. It's literally impossible to describe. It's impossible to describe. The love is being felt tremendously, and I pray that love will be the vessel, the cleave for the Maaseh to figure out where you go from here, because it's very, very complex, and it's very, very long and complicated. But these precious people have opened their homes from the day the Moshav was founded in the mid-70s. There's probably never been a Shabbos without guests in that place. And I was thinking about it Friday night when I was saying Kiddush. I turned to Bina after Kiddush. I said, it's the first Friday night in over 42 years that there's no Kiddush on the Moshav. That there was no Havdalah on the Moshav. There's nothing. And then when the officials from the municipality came last night to speak with them, I heard him say that they themselves, as a moatzah and as a government, don't even know how to respond yet, because this has never happened before in the history of Israel, that a whole moshav is wiped out. There's been bigger fires that have, done damage to neighborhoods, which is horrible. I'm not comparing anything. We're just trying to describe the reality of what this is. It's never happened before. It's unprecedented. That a whole village is wiped out. So it's like this, everything's up in the air, and every Torah of Reb Shlomo is saying that right before the real light comes, Hashem squeezes out from you everything in terms of your leiv, your neshama, your kavanas, like your chesed, where you could be in Hashem's name, squeezing out of you on extraordinary levels. One of the girls from the Moshav who lives in New York right now, her and a friend, also a Moshav, former Moshav resident, jumped on a plane last night with 15, I saw a picture of it, 15 suitcases they let them on El Al, filled with toys, and 17?
25. Rafi Sprung?
Alavai, more than merrier. I was in touch with her the whole time. I saw the pictures of the luggage. I mean, it's nuts.
That's the biggest nace. Alal's in charge for extra baggage.
Yeah, no, miracles are... Listen, they're all walking around, you should know, they all understand that it's an absolute miracle that not a hair was damaged. No one, nothing, not a person. And it really is like that. Because it was a matter of 15 minutes from the time they were evacuated till it hit the first row. However, we're still in this world, meaning, like, even though it is an insane miracle, it's still just beyond this world, painful and complicated to figure this one out. But these kids are just so beautiful, and they're whatever they I'm not going to say us, but they put me to shame. I felt last night like I went there, so to speak, to try to give something. These people are incredible, and they're just trying to hold on to the achdut right now. They're just trying to hold on to the achdut, and it's going to be a long process. They're moving probably right now as we speak to the next stop, to Yad Binyamin, where they're going to be for at least 2 weeks, and we'll see from there further.
What's Yad Binyamin?
It's a yeshuv. If you go down,
no, but they have like.
It's like another hostel, like another hostel situation.
Very special yeshuv. It's the Stam yeshuv.
Well,
Yeshuv of
Aristotle.
Yeah, but that's what's a little bit depressing, is because.
Yeah, you want them to go back home. Yeah.
Well, no. There's no homes to go back to, but I'm saying that there's chevra that are still there from Gush Katif.
Right.
In Karavila, so it's a little bit.
That's like the down, but then the up is that these people have more space in their hearts than we can possibly imagine, because they
Absolutely. No, listen. This is like Yossi asked. Like, this is pulling out from Am Yisrael. I don't know if any of you saw the footage of what people have brought and what the people have been organizing and the money that was raised. Even though it's a drop in the bucket from what's needed, it's still hundreds of thousands of dollars that were raised in just a few days. And it's just every second it's going and going. The problem we live in, the world we live in, is that it's already old news. That's the problem. So, these things, that's like the chashash, is that, this will be, in terms of being tended to and cared to, it's like, wow, take one piguach, chas v'sholem, and it's already, Yesterday, the Nebuch, who was a 3-year-old kid, was killed in a fire in Tzfat. On Shabbos, 3.5-year-old kid. So that everything is so fast. Everyone, all of us, those of you, I know some of you have keshes for Moshav, even those of you that don't, anyone that even feels indebted to Reb Shlomo, people have to stand, like, mamish, show up now, like they never did before, because this is like a defining moment in the lives of many people, from me personally, in the lives of a huge chunk of my closest friends. It's like, you ever wake up in the morning and like 30 of your closest friends don't have a roof? Not like one person got messed up, like 30 of your closest friends, 40 of your closest friends. So we're all showing up, and Hashem should give us the koach to show up long term. That's really the nekudah here, long term. But this shefa of chesed and love, I believe it will. It'll continue, long term. Bezrat Hashem. There's no other way. There's no other way. But they are amazing. They are, especially the kids there. My God, hearing them speak last night. These guys and girls, they're amazing. They should also know that it's okay for them to break. That's also very important. No one expects you to be Superman. You have to have space for that. But right now you can't break. You got to figure out step by step where you're going. So many of you even showed up at my house before Shabbos with envelopes and bags and whatever. Incredible. Every person here. I'll be going back there and probably tomorrow and then hopefully a few times this week. And we'll just keep on going. They already called me. Some of them want to come here spend Shavuos here.
It's also somebody, the guy who's organizing collections.
So yeah, there's spots of people all over the country are organizing collections. We're waiting to hear back first from them clearly what's needed at this point. Because, like I said, my car is packed with things that I don't even know what to do with now. But, we'll get there. We'll get there. Just to stay together and then long term. That's the nikudah, long term. Okay, let's learn right now, like we said, Leilui Nishmat, your Saba-in-law, and right now this learning should be for the chizuk of the Toshavim. We're talking about Simchat Chayim. There were people there that were dancing last night when I was playing. Anyway, one of the Moshav girls is supposed to get married a week from tonight. Her house, her parents' house, her siblings' houses, 5 houses, 5 are to the floor.
What do you mean to the? Oh, they're totally gone.
It's not that there's a sheled and damage. A lot of these kids lived in caravans. It's not, you can't see that there's nothing. Not a zecher. Not even a memory. There's nothing there.
There were 4 houses that made it that didn't get burned?
More or less. Yeah. But they can't go back, they can't move to live there anyway because the tashtiyot, the foundations, there's no water or chashmal on the Moshe. Because all the tashtiyot are all gone. It's like, Mom, it's like you see footage. It looks like my friend told me, he said, it looks like it's Afghanistan. It looks like the Taliban came in and just let out their wrath. Mamash. It never happened before in the history of Israel that a whole village is wiped out. Lo ka'af pam. Never. So, as much as we have to really just squeeze out of ourselves whatever we thought we have and whatever we're not even sure, we have to squeeze it out and help on every level. These people have nothing, and they've given their whole lives. I grew up in very friendly communities. I've never seen a community that every single Shabbos is busy with Chnasat Orchim. Every single Shabbos. Did you ever hear of another community like this? That every single Shabbos? It's not like there's vacations or off months. Every Shabbos. Mamash. Lo yuman. Lo yuman. But even if Reb Shlomo gave any of you anything, then it's the time now to give, mamash, to give back. People are. I got a call from Chabadnikim that I want to help big time, and it's coming from all over the place. We just have to get the Itargenut together. Okay, let's try to learn. Litchazek right now. I know it's very hard, but yalla, we're made out of things we're unaware of as well. If you open up in the pages you have, we're up to Kuf Tet Vav. Ot Gimel. I want to give a little bit, just to remind ourselves a little bit of where we were, because this is a very beautiful and important discourse from Rav Kluger, mamash important. And I know this can give chizuk to the Chevra from the Moshav. I'm telling you, they learn with us online. They're going to learn with us. We'll give them a lot of chizuk right now, each and every one of them. Because if any of them can have Simchat Chayim where they're at right now, then we could also, we could figure out a bit deeper how to do it in our lives as well. So, we were speaking about this utopic state of when the time the Beit HaMikdash was around, where there was shalom bayit between the neshama and the guf. There was peace. People there last night in the Moshav were telling me, we realized how we really are special because we have nothing, but because we have each other and our bodies, we feel like we have everything, like we have Shalom Bayit inside. And that was the state that was in the Beit HaMikdash. That everything physical was able to be elevated, exalted spiritually, and there was harmony between the soul and the body. That was the state that we were in. That was what coming back to Eretz Yisrael was all about. That from the time we left Egypt, traveled in the desert, there was no real Shalom Bayis going on between our bodies and our souls. You come to Eretz Yisrael, you start rebuilding Eretz Yisrael, have the Beis HaMikdash, that's the Shalom Bayis between the body and the soul. Like yesterday, yeah. Like the parsha, nachon? That's V'yishaftem levetach be'artzachem, all those psukim. Tati shalom. Ve'olech otchem komimiyut. All these descriptions of what it's supposed to be like over here. Like, that's all basically describing the situation of Shalom Bayis. Inside Shalom Bayis. That's really what it is. And the Kohanim were doing their thing. They showed everyone, the way that they were even dressed and walking. Remember, they would walk barefoot to show. Remember, we were talking about to be connected to the land was just as holy as elevating things upwards. Everything was in unison. It was just what we call harmony. It was there. But then we reach a state of Khurban. Now, you and I should feel uncomfortable in this world until the Beit HaMikdash is here, because essentially it's almost impossible for there to be Shalom Bayis in a world where our real Shalom Bayis is not intact. Right? It should be like this. So let's pick up over here from Od Gimel. We'll learn for a few minutes. Rav Kluger says like this: Beram churban nora hifrid ben neshama laguf, hotir et nishmat Yisrael tzlusha mikol karka u'metziut. What the churban caused was that the soul of Am Yisrael is uprooted. It's talush. It's plucked from its ideal state of reality. Shuv en ma sheyachil ve'ikabel ota levate et pnimiyuta. There's no like outlet for the neshama to truly express its inside through any actual actions. Derech ma'asim mamashim umuchashim. He's explaining here galut. He's saying galut, the state of galut, is that there's no way for you to express what you really want to express. Now, don't kill me, Ari and Jeremy, but even here in Eretz Yisrael, without the Beit HaMikdash, we're not fully able to express. You know that, right? Like the whole Chevra here have to, not you guys, I'm sorry I said that, I'm saying the Zionists, the Chevra have to understand that until the Beit HaMikdash is here, we still cannot express what our souls really want to express. We're closer to expressing it, but we're not yet able to do it fully. And that's why we can't stop until there's Beit HaMikdash. Yishai's motto, keep on making aliyah, it's mamash emet. It has to keep on going till we're able to express what's going on inside of us. Notra haneshama ki mitziut ruchanit she'en la kli u'bitui. The soul has remained as this spiritual reality that has no vessel nor expression. Safek kayemet, safek lo. Is my soul alive or is it not alive? Gam habriya, haguf, the body, the world of creation, nishmeta la'achora bebilbul, is in a state of confusion. Hatzomeach, hachai, hadomem, all the other three elements, kol asher alav, kayamim lelo tachlit brura. They're here, but there's not a clear purpose why there is the tzomeach chayim medaber, the world of vegetation, the world of what are these? How do you say this? Inanimate. Nachon. ממשיכים את קיומם מתוך כיסופים פנימיים ולא ידעו אל מה ולמה. We know there's something big happening, but it's too often that we have a lot of sveikus about it, that which was once clear to us. מקום המקדש שממה ותוהו. The place of the Mikdash? Huh? It's so true. As long as a Jew goes up to Har HaBayit and gets arrested for talking to God, I don't care how beautiful the kotel is. It's shmama v'tohu. The most essential thing is, you know what you're not allowed to do on Makom HaMikdash? Plant trees. You know that, right? Lo tita'alacha asherah. when the whole place is surrounded by these, exactly what shouldn't be there. Everything about it. Everything about it. Eretz HaKodesh lelo banea ha'asufim ba. As far as I heard, there's still some Jews that are in Galut, right? Outside of the country. Is that still true as of this morning? All right. There's how many?
6.5, 9, 7.
Kol nishmot Yisrael mirachfot. The souls are merachefing. How do you say merachef? They're floating. There's just like umitzuyot b'chalal avira shel Eretz HaKodesh. They're in the space of the air of Eretz HaKodesh, but they're floating around. Beram gufam nilkach lagalut ונעשו פזורים ומפוזרים בין הגויים, או בין קרעי הנפש ומבוכותיה. This is so deep. He says Jews are situated, spread out amongst the nations of the world, or between the kir'ei hanefesh, the ripping of the soul, shreds of the soul, umevuchotea, and its mazes, and its perplexities. What is he basically saying? If you feel uncomfortable in this world, you're not crazy. That's what he's saying. If you're wondering, how come I'm not really happy if I have so much of an abundance? You're not crazy. It's because your soul is not yet in the place, is not living in a reality where it can feel at home. That's why don't feel too guilty that you're not as thankful as you should be. It's very hard when the soul is in a maze. He's saying our souls are trapped in a state of non-Beit HaMikdash, non-Geula. It's trapped. Who could relate to this? כי דכתב הגר"א, like the Gra wrote, שהיהודים המתגוררים בחוץ לארץ, נשמתם שוכנת בארץ הקודש. The Gra says Jews that live in חוץ לארץ, their souls are in Eretz HaKodesh. They're in this, like he said, the avira, the air of Eretz Yisrael. וגופם המצוי בארץ העמים, but their bodies that are physically on foreign soil, הינו כקבור ומת שם, בחלל הספקות והטומאה. Wow. Their bodies that are there might be alive, but it's as if they are dead and buried there in the space of tuma and doubts. גם בהגיעם לארץ הקודש, and even when you physically do come here, לא נעשה החיבור השלם בין נשמתם לגופם. It's not a full reunion between the body and the soul. לא זכו אל מה שזוכה יהודי הדר בארץ ישראל. They don't merit what a Jew who lives here merits. שבמסירות נפשו לקנותה בייסורים, that a person with his mesirus nefesh does whatever he can to acquire living here through all the pain and affliction that goes in with it. What happens to that person? נעשה תמיד מרכבה וכלי לשכינה הקדושה בגלותה. When you move here and you do whatever you can to acquire a kinyan in Eretz Yisrael, who do you become? You become at any given moment a vessel for the Shechina, which is in Galut, in a spiritual state of Galut. That's how you become. With your Mesirut Nefesh, at that moment, the Shechina can reside feels more at home by you. So he says over here, ולכן, אפילו בגלות, זוכה ליותר הערה וחיבור נשמה בגוף. So this was a little bit confusing. It took me a few times to get it. I'll give it a dab at it. Ellie, did you understand this last piece? Jeremy, do you understand this? ולכן, אפילו בגלות, זוכה ליותר הערה וחיבור נשמה בגוף. I think he's referring to the Shechina, right?
They're talking about this Galut.
Right. Not when you're there.
But the Galut, like the Beit HaMikdash, is still not here. The Galut HaMentalית HaRuchanit.
Yeah.
The question is it, I guess we have to ask him this directly, but is it the Mesirut Nefesh, L'Shem Hashem, which creates your body to be a Merkava, or is it Mesirut Nefesh, the Yisraelim here in Eretz Yisrael that creates it?
I don't know, bro. I saw a bunch of my hippie friends last night that left, everything years ago and came to Israel, which is, the mentality is so not San Francisco, 1969, right?
Right.
There's Mesiras Nefesh to acquire the gift of living in Eretz Yisrael.
Sure.
So at that moment, I after that, I don't know what could be.
No, I'm saying like that's my question is not about those that are here or living pretty or not living pretty, but those that are there.
Those that are
But
there.
they're doing the Mesiras Nefesh in a different way. If they're also creating a Merkava and including Shekhinah. And my guess is that it's
I don't know. I don't. You know, I can't. I know my best friends, my family lives in there. You know, I don't know. I just know what happens here. Here is the place where the eventual shalom bayis between the soul and the body will take place. Not definitely not in Chutz La'aretz. So it's not in the cards. Okay. וראה מאמר חז"ל, look what the Gemara in Kesubah says, לעולם ידור עד ידור אדם בארץ ישראל, ועל ידור בחוץ לארץ, ואפילו בעיר שרובה ישראל. A person should always dwell in Eretz Yisrael and not outside of the land, even in a country or a city where the majority are Yidden. שכל הדר בארץ ישראל דומה כמי שיש לו אלוקה, because anyone who dwells in the land, it's similar and it's like someone who has a God. וכל הדר בחוץ לארץ דומה כמי שאין לו אלוקה. And whoever dwells in outside of the land, it's domeh to someone that doesn't have an elokah. You know when people have tried to rewrite this sentence? And this is what the Gemara says. What are we going to do? We could try to give different... Now the key word here is what?
Domeh.
Right, so what does that mean?
That there are analogies.
Correct.
It's not saying they have no...
Correct. So if you learn this Gemara and it gives you legitimacy to judge Yidden in Chutz La'aretz, you're worse, in my opinion.
No, Dafka.
And not you,
To give them the benefit of the doubt.
Correct.
Because they're further away.
Correct. No Jew has ever made Aliyah and stayed here due to someone telling them that it's as if you don't have a God, so you should come here and feeling judged. Ze lo kora. None of us made it here because of that either. Right? And sikui. The Inyan here is that in Eretz Yisrael, it's like, what is the Gemara saying? I think that's what it's saying. You should always live here, even if it's so difficult, and even if you can be with a lot more Jews there, and a rove of Jews there. Why? Because here you have more of a chance of your soul to express what it's really feeling. Even if it's not fully there in the state of Beit HaMikdash, where it could fully have peace and harmony with the body, here the chance, the ability for you to express what your soul wants to express is closest to any other scenario. And in this world, if we're trying to make this place a Mikdash Me'at down here, a place where God can dwell in, the soul has to be able to express itself. Now many will come and contend what we just said right now. And they'll say, it's not true. I actually find myself being able to express myself spiritually much greater out there. What do you say to that?
It's their soul, it's not them. We're saying the neshama.
They'll say that it's their soul. What do you say to that? I've heard, but you haven't heard this? It's so much better for me to be, I'm able to be a better Yid spiritually. This is the situation is right now there.
I could be a better Yid when I bow down to this idol. I'm telling you, when I bow down to this idol, I feel so close to Hashem. The idol is so beautiful. It's wonderful. That's what you're going to tell me. Fine. The Gemara says otherwise.
Right.
It's the Torah. Okay.
Right.
Well, look. You can't. I'm in this like little takufa now since Lag Bomer. I was watching videos of different meduras in other towns and outside, and they were like, it was so sad. It was just like a fire in Chicago. The fire, and people are just like sad, and just like trying to pray. Like there was no simple. I saw Satmar though had something that really looked very special. Thousands. Like they had it in their own like real feel flow, and like I couldn't help but feel like, hey, these guys either get it in some way. They're able to bring a real holy type of kedusha, even though it's there. On the other hand, I was on my way to my room with a bunch of guys from Satmar, Yiddish the whole time. So one of the guys says, well, what's this over here? He goes, oh, that's the Golan. So he goes, oh, there's no halacha there, right? It's not up to the fools. So the guy says, yeah, there's no, it's not part of Eretz Yisrael. So the Satmar guy says, I see, they chopped the rind to shtuff it to the other guy. was that you just like he threw the whole threw the whole Golan like means nothing. You know, it was such an I didn't even know what to say back. We're in a different world and planet, and so I don't know. Just like you talking about this now, I've been thinking and dealing with this. Like on one hand, it's just they came to Eretz Yisrael just to go to Reb Shimon. On the other hand, we're like in a different planet, seemingly.
Yeah, on a certain level, mamish is. You know, you just have to believe the Gemara. Like that's what basically. Listen, the Gemara says so. What are we gonna do? That's what the Gemara says. We didn't make this stuff up. We're not saying it because we feel something. It's true. The truth is, you know, I mean, listen, on a speaking tour, you haven't felt sometimes that you're like, part of you comes, like there's a kli to hear what you're saying. It's true, right? It can mess with the mind, but just realize something. It's only like that because you're a shliach of Eretz Yisrael. Sure. Like at that moment when you do your thing out there in Galut, and if it's l'shem, the emet, and the kedusha ta'aretz, it's gonna feel like your soul's expressing itself. That's only because you're an extension of the land at that moment.
There's also the journey aspect of it. A lot of people, I remember when I was in the army, they wanted to leave Israel. They sold Dead Sea products for 10 years in Florida. They got a job, and then they were Chiloni in Israel, and they start going to Chabad's in Florida and reconnecting, and then they want to make Aliyah from a whole other place. Mm-hmm. Meaning there's something to the journey of feeling more like a Yid, because that's part of the journey that they have to be on.
Yeah.
I saw a piece on this.
Yeah.
I think it was in Baal Shem Tov quoting it, saying that there's, because it says Eretz Yisrael, like people
Right.
who have difficulty here, they feel judged, or they feel the difficulty of trying to keep the mitzvot. But when they go to Utzaretz, there's something calm and nice about it being back by Litufim.
But that's why Reb Nachman has 3 different perushim for Eretz Achelet Yoshvea. One of them is, you get swallowed up. The other is that when you're by a tzaddik, you want to be consumed by him. Just like food that gets eaten up, it becomes part of your intestines, it becomes part of your brain, the food that you eat. So like, Eretz Achelet Yoshvea, the Meraglim didn't realize what they was really saying was that it's true, when you're mevutal to the Kedusha that's in Eretz Yisrael, what a privilege it is to be swallowed up by it and it becomes you and you become it. But that process is very different. That process of becoming holy and swallowed up by holiness doesn't exactly feel like a massage. It could be brutal. It could be brutal. Mamash.
Look, there's a long game here. That's another reason why you can't compare like day to day. Well, I had a great marv over there, and here it was just like a shvachim. Like
right.
There's a guf, and there's a neshama, and ultimately, where does your neshama have a better chance of like doing its tikkun and serving its purpose? The long game, and that can include like our offsprings and like, all the other souls that come along. I mean, where's the best chance for that?
Only one place. Only one place. Only here. Only here. Let's continue. מאז החורבן ואילך נעשתה נשמה מסוכסכת עם הגוף שהושכנה בו. Since the Khurban, the neshama has become, you know what mesukzach means? Like when you have a sichsuch shchenim, when you have a neighborly dispute, a quarrel. There's a quarrel between the body and the soul. Since the Khurban Habayit, נוצר מצב שיהודי לא מרוצה מעצמו. You know what לא מרוצה מעצמך means? It means I'm not happy with myself. That's a horrible feeling. I'm not happy with myself. שיתחו לו גוף לחיות עם מוצבתא, והוא היה מעדיף כלי שרת יותר נאה וכנוע. The soul was given this body to this shidduch, and I'm not merutze with what was given to me. I'm not pleased. I'm not happy with my deal, with my lot. I'm not okay with how I have to go through this world. That's really what I think is what he's saying. בלית ברירה גורר את המסע בזעף. But reluctantly, what is he going to do? He schleps this heavy load with anger. Exhausted. הגוף אוכל וישן, מתקדם לפי כוחותיו. So the body's doing its thing. It's eating, it's sleeping, it's pacing, and it's whatever koach it has. והנשמה מסתכלת לעברו כעומד אני בחוץ. And the soul's outside of that process saying, ugh, this is me? This is part of my bag? אינה שמחה, אינה מעריכה. הגוף נפגע ונעלב. And the body, on the other hand, sees the neshama looking at it from far, as the neshama is disgusted from the body, And what does the body then do? Aguf nifga v'ne'elav. The body is hurt and insulted מההתייחסות הפנימית הזאת, from the way that it's being looked at. המפילה רפיון וטרוניה ללא הרף. The guf is sick of feeling judged by the soul. This, he says, takes place inside each and every one of us. ועל כן נאבדת ממנו שמחתו הטבעית. Therefore, its natural joy is also lost. What is this natural joy? להיות שותף לנשמה. Like it was in the Beit HaMikdash. Wow, the body is going to bring korbanot and solet and ktolet. That simcha of the guf is gone. To become partner with the soul, it's not there anymore. להיות שותף לנשמה בשעה שחפצה להאיר דרכו את מציאות השם יתברך. The body used to be excited that it was chosen to join the neshama to bring light into the world. But now the body just feels judged all the time by our soul. במצב כזה מתנגשים השותפים. The partners are butting heads all the time in this kind of reality. ומתקוטטים, they're fighting בחוסר שלווה ומנוח. He's saying this is what happens by us all the time. Why we're not really calm inside. Why there's very little harmony going on inside. Because there's constant conflict between the body and the soul due to the reality that we live in. כאדמת ישראל שפלטה מעליה את הנשמה שהתהלכה על גבה מאות בשנים. We all feel like the land שפלטה מעליה את הנשמה שהתהלכה, meaning that how do you say this? Rejected the soul that was dwelling on it for hundreds of years. Now look what he says here. זה סוד הקושי הגדול ליהודי לרכוש פיסת קרקע בארץ הקודש. He's saying, what's one of the hardest things in the world today in Eretz Yisrael? For a Jew to buy land, to actually acquire land in Eretz Yisrael. Why is it so hard? Why is it so difficult? Why is the process so difficult? Our Chevron the Moshav, for 40 years, are trying to figure out how to actually make the lots where they were living on legal and official. But not just them, all of us have this inyan regarding actually acquiring land here. Why is it so hard? Because there's constant conflict between the body and the soul. What's the body and the soul in that context? What's the body? The land. What's the soul? The Jew who wants to dwell on it. כנשמת עם קודש אשר כבר אין לה את השדה והכרם. A holy people that don't even have anymore the field, the vineyard, הבית והעיר, the house, the city. שהיו לה כלי שלמות ותפארת. It once was, for us, a vessel of beauty and of completion. מזבח מוריד דמעות והפירוט שולט. The reality is a mizbeach, an altar that is tearing, and the pirud and how do you say pirud? Separation reigns. He's saying, now he's not telling this to you to get depressed. I feel this very calming, because he's explaining to me, at least, why, with all the gifts I have, you have, there's still such an unsettling feeling. Well, this is why. This is why, because we didn't come back here to just be able to have an apartment and just live here. There's something much bigger going on here. We are people of the soul. And when the soul is not able to express itself, excuse me for saying this, when the soul gets constipated, it's a bad scene. It's a bad scene. And on a certain level, it's been constipated for a long, long, long time. So we keep on feeding good things, but there's a problem. There's no bitui, there's no expression. Where the expression is very, very limited. It's very, very limited. So this is just a little bit of a reason to dive in a bit stronger today for Beit HaMikdash. Why? For one reason, I'm sick of being spiritually constipated. Pashut. And then what's that release, that feeling where you're able to express yourself?
Relief, calm, ease.
Life. Breathe, just live, like the normalcy of living, of a normal, healthy, functioning organism. Like that, the Beit HaMikdash, there was this inyan of like, okay, we have to work so hard in our breathing all the time because we barely breathe, right? Anyway, he's continuing this. It's going to take a while, this Ma'amar, but he's going to give us the secrets here to attain Simchat Chayim while we're on our journey to build the Beit HaMikdash. All right, brothers. Yesher koach. Be good news. Much better news than last week.
What are you doing?